Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Rasatkundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yashodabhiyolukha Randavamanam Param Vrishtam Madhyantato Drutagopyam Rudantam muhurnetram yugmam vrijantam karam bhojayugmena shatankanetram Shvashakam patrirekantha Sita graiva damodaram bhaktivedanta Lila Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajjantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshitagneshu bhaktirjitatvam Punah prematastam Shatavruti vande Varam deva moksham na moksham vadinva na chanyam bruneham vareshadapiha Idam teva punatha gopala balam sadame manasya virastam kimanye Idante mukham vojam atyanta nilay Vrittam kuntalay snigdha Taisya Gopyam Mohostrambitam Bimbarakadaram Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhay Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalabhimagnam Drishti Vritsyadi Dinam Vatano Prani Shamamagyam Edi Akshidrasyaha Kuberatmajo Bhakta Murtaiva Yadva Tvayamochito Bhakti Ajo Krutau Cha Tatha prema bhaktim swakam me prayacha Namo kshidraho mesti damodareha Namaste Stutamne Spurat Vittidamne Namo Namaste Stutamne Spurat Vittidamne Tvadiyo Darayata Vishvasya Damne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai Namo Ananta Lilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namamishwaram Satchidanandarupam Rasat Kundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yashodabhiyolukhaladavamanam Paramrishtam Atyantato Drutagopyam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, we are learning about these beautiful pastimes, which is the beginning of internal relishment in the mood of parental rasa. There is highly elevated devotees relish in different ways. Everybody does not have the same flavor in one rasa. Rasas themselves are very flavorful. Here we see the Satyavrata Muni is expressing his deep understanding and loving exchange, and this particular Lila is there. So, according to the esoteric truth or the spiritual truth, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is virtually drenching everyone in the realm of Gokula with these wonderful pastimes, now he is starting the relishment through the parental rasa. And how Brajvasis are relating it to it. So these things are expressed in the personal realization of Satyavrata Muni. We need to expand in such understanding in order to understand the mellow which is flowing in the parental rasa, Vatsalya rasa. Gaurang Das, Radhanath Swami's disciple, has made a beautiful slideshow presentation, but it is highly analytical and one has to have a lot of patience. Yeah. Of course, the first 2 stanzas he explains very elaborately. The rest of the 6 he runs fast. This slideshow has about 46 slides. But if you go through without him explaining, I will not be able to explain. I never attended one. But the points he is putting through is quite showing the maturity of the way to understand the philosophical aspect, which is transcendental in nature. So retaining everything according to our sampradaya teachings, Srila Prabhupada's guidance and everything, how devotees contemplate in order to understand this particular Lila. I'm not showing you the slideshow because I'm getting fumbled when he jumps on some other esoteric subjects. Neither I have any points to ponder, because in this slideshow there is nothing like a written explanation or meaning or notes, nothing. But when I looked into it, was amazing. It's a thought-provoking process. It's not churning the brain, but trying to understand through the deep within our heart, in whichever way, at whatever level we have established our relishment during this month. That we are habituated to perform Deepdan and sing in glorification of this particular Lila, and somehow that is our tradition in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, but the contemplation on this Lila has to be deep. So those who are advancing devotees will relish. So I thought I should speak for 2 days on Damodar Lila. Otherwise, if he would be able to do, it may take 6 days. The emphasis on certain words is also important, and that belongs to only Satyavrat Muni. So we'll start to split hairs about this Lila. You know, splitting hair. Now we analyze a little bit. Analyze, analytical, that is Sankhya Yoga. Kapil Dev taught to Devahuti. Prabhupada wants, it is not imposter Kapila, the atheistic Kapila, who also propounded Sankhya Yoga, but without the element of Krishna consciousness in it. He was a materialistic, atheistic Kapila. And you can Google it. You will get both the Kapilas. All right? In this particular verse, I don't know why it is said it has been taken from Padma Purana. Is it coming in Padma Purana? But anyway, your guess is my guess. Let's see. Namamishwaram, I bow down to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Controller. Ishwaram verbatim means controller, Supreme Controller. And whose embodiment is Satchidanand Rupam. The form of the Lord is composed of eternity, full of knowledge and bliss. Right? Can you imagine such a composition of or a configuration of the body? We are accustomed to our composition of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind and intelligence, and that too when Krishna says, otherwise we would not know. So for us, it is only a speculative game, or belief, they say. But that also requires some contemplation to think, is he correct? You do not know what is ego, but you accept ego of others. And you build up your own ego, but you remain ignorant of it. So, we have to rise above the effects of the three modes of material nature. When we want to relish, we can't interject the material explanations. But by verbatim, that what describes as transcendental qualities. Satchidananda Rupam, these are transcendental qualities. And most of the impersonalists ignore them. How can the Supreme has form? He is a formless. Because they know they experience only these three qualities, Sattva gun, Rajagun, and Tamogun, and whatever is been built by that. The table is not a living entity, it is filled with Tamogun. But if you set in fire, it will be Rajagun. Now, how come? The investment of the three modes of material nature is there. But we use the same table in service of Krishna. It transcends even the mode of goodness because it is in connection with the Supreme. That is its best position to utilize anything. Because we have experience only of material modes. And at the maximum we can describe the spiritual modes, Satchidanand, Sat means eternality, but we never experience any eternal thing here. You know? So, never utilize your mind and intelligence in estimating the transcendence, transcendental aspect of this personality of Godhead. That is achintya. When your brain doesn't work, or try to use it in wrong way, which is inconceivable, then we are at loss. But we take our predecessor Acharya to be safe. And we speak as they speak to understand. And whatever, according to our capacity, imbibe through that, it will be a best is a bad bargain otherwise. The subject matter educates spiritually. So, the absolute truth has to be understood. His mentality is to be understood. Not only his activities have to be understood. So everything is in relationship. He has a personality. Not only that, he has relationships. Not only that, there is a degree of intimacy in enactment between the pure devotees. So, when we chant this prayer, we simply think in our terms of experience. But there is a gulf of difference of experience through Yogamaya and Mahamaya. These are the agencies. So this is the realm of Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. So at least we have to purify ourselves by thinking, feeling, and willing, and enter into the subject matter without any logic interference. Tarko, apartishto, srutayo bhinna, or some even scriptural references, because they differ. What you read about this Lila in Brahma-Vaivrata Purana, it will be testing little differently than what we have in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Other Puranas do indulge in three modes of material nature, but Bhāgavatam does not indulge. So the taste would be very pure. So, he has relationship and interactions. Interactions are called Lilas. The relationships built up parivar. Parivar means the family. But this is not material family. Our actions in the family relationship, even if we play these pastimes and make children to play certain roles, there are limitations. Prabhupada said that when he was young, there was a famous play about Shah Jahan. About Shah Jahan. He said the name of the play was Shah Jahan, but actual main character that they project is Aurangzeb. All right? And a person imbibes the mood and projects them in the front of the people as if he is really acting as Shah Jahan. Well, we can imitate material modes, but unless and until we develop the wealth of spiritual modes, how is it able to understand the Lila? Theoretically we know Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. We do like parrot chanting, verbatim, exactly. We quote everywhere, this, that. We try to tie up the tongue of opponents by quoting so many shastras. The poor guy, he says, oh, you are a big pandit, sorry, I am not knowing anything. And then he quits, and you think you did something. Ha ha. But spiritual experience of the rasas is completely on a different level. You have to relish as if you are a participant in the holy dham, where we do not bring our attachments there. We do not bring our conditionings there. We simply take up the service of remembering this pastime day after day, for the whole month of Kartik. All these factors have to be analyzed. Are we related to this young Damodar? Are we going to participate? It means deep thinking. It's not a wishful thinking. Oh, I wish I would be there. Oh, I like it so much. It's the real relishment. But it is just like licking the jar of honey from outside without opening the lid. So when we go to Dham and try to imbibe the mood, then we will be able to at least taste a little. We have to open the lid to taste the nectar. So this month is a special month where cultivation of the spiritual nature is given prime importance. You may do through austerity and increase the chanting, intensify reading and participating in different activities on Kartik, like parikrama, every day, This is the most enjoyable. We get a tinge of enjoyment. And we think we are satisfied by going to Vrindavan Dham during Kartik. Of course, we are so tiny, how much spiritual taste do we require? A little is good enough. Otherwise, if we start overflowing, then we will not be here. We would be in Golok Vrindavan. That we have to increase, but hardly we can. Immediate effect is that you get satisfied and you think, what do I need more? So, here, Satyavrat Muni is explaining the form of the Lord, his personality. And yet, he is the controller, Ishvaram. So, both the majestic aspect of controlling everything cannot be forgotten. But at the same time, overpowering innocent activities that committing some kind of mischief, and that too exactly we can relate in our life. But the majestic aspect cannot supersede the interaction between the devotee and the Lord. There where the relishment is there. Otherwise, majestic aspect of being controller is only awe and reverence. But this is a higher taste. So even though that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is this creator, sustainer, and dissolution of the material world, but he is existing in his eternal abode called Gokul. Brajamana means exactly remain active in walking, talking, playing, and doing mischief, and whatever it is. Everything is his versatile activities. Brajamanam. Brajamanam means who is splendorously manifesting all these activities as if he is an ordinary child. In the realm of Gokul, he is exhibiting. There are no contradictions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental and is the Supreme Controller, and he is controlling in the transcendental ways. How are transcendental ways? That even though he is cognizant, Swarat, Abhigya Swarat. Abhigya means cognizant. Yet he does not get involved himself and expands himself to reach out to each and everybody. So he is remaining always in total control, not of himself, but also of others, the rest of the expanded beings. So, he is manifesting in front of his mother, who is a pure devotee, who is competent to play such a role in pure love of Godhead. So, pure love of Godhead is too much a distant thing for our understanding. What to speak of, we hardly have any chance to relish it. We keep on imagining, but we have faith that we may progress gradually to think. Okay, but when? If we are chanting purely, then and then the loving aspect will be revealed to us, not otherwise. Prema does not occur first. This is not a blind date with Lord Krishna. Love at first sight. Here the love at last sight. That is the nature. So, and it is so bewildering pastimes that even though we witness, it attracts us simultaneously and baffles us to understand. That how the Supreme Majesty can be reconciled with the transcendental aspect of loving moods. Means how come the Supreme, who is the creator, sustainer, and the solution of everything, he is existing in his eternal realm, and when we hear that these pastimes are ever going, our brain gets tired and forces us to take a rest in the night. But Krishna's brain never goes tired. And these pastimes are ever happening. We may not be able to see, or we may have limited vision, that's the reason. But at the same time, the fact remains the same, that they are ever going on. And there is no night or day, even though they may be present by their conspicuousness. Such elements also are the creation, and they want to participate in these wonderful pastimes. That sometimes we see in the photograph, say Rasa Lila or Damodar Lila, and there are so many elements, they exactly appear out in our world, material world, there also. So baffling situation occurs in us. Then there's no difference between what we can understand in the material world. The same thing is spiritual. But when our Acharya says that this is nothing but completely opposite reflection to the reality. Transcendental pastimes are reality. And we think of virtual situation, possible, and we use our brain and recreating, but it cannot come at par with the exact relishment. We may get only glimpse. And that also through the eyes and spiritual realization of our predecessor Acharya. So, transcendental vision, even though it is slight, it is enough for tiny living entity. So, in enjoyment or relishment, we should become more and more deeply obligated to Lord Krishna and make us ourselves more humble in approaching him. Because this is so bewildering. So they say, when we see some kind of activity of the spiritual realm or through the pages of our prescribed scriptures, there appears some kind of understanding and deeper understanding. When Christians say, you have this only one life to live, and because Jesus Christ has shed blood for your sins, better surrender These Hindus are believing that there are multiple lives. Multiple life means repeated birth after death. We don't. Now, human life is the only life. They will preach. But they don't understand that they are viewing only one slide. But the scriptures are telling about the whole movie. How many slides would be there? And it is continuing. The spiritual movie never stops, never ends. And you never give up. If you are an observer in the, say, Golok Vrindavan, you don't have a place of a chair or something to observe this when you go to Golok Vrindavan. You have to participate. You are part of the whole game there. And you have to obey the rules and regulations there. Better learn from here through ISKCON, because nobody else is teaching. Yeah. Other wants to go in higher rasas, like straightforward rasa dance. No. Where is it is the target, but where is the qualification? If we have trouble in understanding this childhood pastime, how can we anticipate to understand the gopis' love? It's a terrible jump. Actual monkeys go around that. They want to jump. And they teach them, even though they are not qualified. Prabhupada said, Radaroga kam apanoti is not there, better stop it right there. Don't make yourself a fool. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Heavily, he says. So, development of love of Godhead through successive stages and go to Hare is a secure way, rather than one think that one is qualified, but radaroga kam, the lusty desire from our heart, if they arise by hearing Radha Krishna Lila, Prabhupada says, foolish, stop it. That is the point. So, innocent childhood pastimes do not need the interference of our lustiness. It gives a good glimpse, but it will also encourage us to become free from lusty desires. So, to the Supreme Lord, whose form embodies eternity, knowledge and bliss, whose earrings swing to and fro, who shines beautifully in Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, quickly running from the grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda. And who was finally caught from behind by her, who ran faster than he to that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my obeisances. So, the form of the Lord is to be kept in mind. The family of the Lord is to be kept in mind. The relationship that are here described, that should be kept in mind. These are the relationship enacted in the pure stage. Bhakto asi sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. Arjuna was related to Lord Krishna And he was his devotee. Bhakta and Sakha. Sakha indicates the relationship, and Bhakta means he was his servitor with loving devotion. All right? So he gets exposed to the most confidential aspect of Lord Shri Krishna's activities. Nobody else. If you believe in Krishna but you are not related, forget. Everything is zero. People ask, why do I need initiation? I love Krishna. I will read your books. If you are reading books and trying to gather the information of the Lord and His activities, then whose books are you reading? You must be related to Him. So ultimate relationship is established through Him. Brahma Sambandh, or the first initiation, is given by Guru, and the relationship is revealed. Is revealed. The first initiation is to establish a relationship. We are related. What is the common relationship? The denominator of our relationship? That every rasa will be subservient for the pleasure of the Lord. It means servitorship is the only relationship. Everybody, ekle Ishwar Krishna arsa vibhratya jahara ichha habe tabet nachave nritya. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, the only Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Shri Krishna, and everything else, all has been expansion, swamshas, vibhinnamshas, his own avatars in the form of swamshas, Tadekatman, so many categorization, Purusha avatar, they are all subservient to Lord Krishna. And that too, he was roaming in Gokula. He was running fast to get away from his mother because he was fearful. Now, how come the fear stands in front of the Supreme? It is impossible. Fear personified is afraid of the Supreme Lord. Bhayam swayam vibheti. Bhayam swayam vibheti. Because bhaya comes by ignorance. In front of Krishna, can ignorance be existing simultaneously? No. Then what is this yogamaya that make you forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? In Vrindavan, nobody knows him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is playing exactly like an ordinary child. And everybody is subservient, but they have a desire to enjoy with the Supreme. So the entire realm of Vrindavan is under Yogamaya jurisdiction, where so many personalities like Vrindavaneshwari, Vrinda, then what is Kirtida Sundari's mother? No, Kirtida Sundari is the mother of Radharani, but who is grandmother? Mukhra. Mukhra. Purnamasi. Purnamasi, and Purnamasi has a function. What is her function? To create such a situation that there will be no possible way, that Radharani can ever come near Krishna. She was trying to keep them separated. And Srila Prabhupada said, you can't separate Radha and Krishna because they are one. For Krishna's personal enjoyment, he separated Radharani. That is our teachings. Rupa Goswami said. And if they are one, Krishna expanded his internal potential, Adini Shakti, and manifested Radharani out of it for the sake of the understanding for the opposite characters of men, means mankind, that they have forgotten. They have been given chance to understand what is spirituality, what is their constitutional position, They forgot altogether. So he comes exactly in the way we can understand. But we understand materially without our constitutional position and its services and necessity. The constitution of the part and parcel is also identical and qualitatively one with the Lord. We forget. And yet he is coming to give us opportunity to understand him. So he wants in Bhagavad Gita, Param Bhavam Ajananta Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. First of all, we challenge his majesty. Maheshwaram, Bhuta Maheshwaram. We are all Bhutas. However we decorate ourselves, but Bhutas are Bhutas. Right? One who has come into existence in the material world is called a Bhuta. Yes. A Bhuta is ever existing in past, present or future. In the bodily conception, which is exactly diametrically opposed in the quality and activity. Everything here is done in opposition of Krishna. We challenge Krishna. We want to become Lord and Master ourselves here. None. Forget. So godless civilization has been happening. So how is it possible? Without them being purified means come to the constitutional positions and then develop the understanding of relationship and activity involved in it. So that realm is not known in other religion. Well, how come the Christians are stuck only on the bread? They don't think beyond. And Jesus did not tell them, because you are not qualified to understand, the esoteric aspect, the higher aspect of service to God. So anyway, the point is that we oppose, we interject our understanding all the time. But many times we do not ask our inquisitiveness or inquiries because we don't understand. We need explanations. We hardly speak out anything for that even. Most of we are very easy and eager to give oral reception, but again we construe different meaning. Every head has a different way of understanding. Jad Bharat has completely, opposite understandings. Huh? What we anticipate, he will say, no, I know. So, the first verse is that Mother Yashoda is running swifter, but at the same time, because of her heavy body, she becomes exasperated. And as if she is not going to catch him ever. So she was so much frustrated. But seeing the stick, and she was running faster than him, little child thought, let me get caught up now. But that was on his free will, otherwise you can't catch. However you run, Jad Bharat, he is swifter. Ishopanishad, explain, Taddejati tanhitati, apani padau javanagrahita. Prabhupada quotes so many slokas from Ishopanishad that describes the nature of this transcendental living entity. Even though he does not have hands, he grabs. And we think, he must be looking like a big octopus, and it has tentacles and can grab from anywhere and everywhere. We just saw a big picture of octopus, and I was remembering that this may be God. Grabbing, he catches, he holds. When he comes for our facilitation in understanding, in a form exactly like us, one of us, we think, and we can't think beyond of it. And the Upanishads are describing the transcendental nature of his activities. He does not walk, yet he runs faster. Oh my God, what is this? He does not walk. He doesn't have hands, yet he grabs. Yes, he does not have only 2 hands. That's another meaning. He has many, many hands, he can grab anywhere. Pani means hand. Apani, apado. He doesn't have legs or... Oh my God, it's sweating. So it is difficult to reconcile, but when you are hammered, chant Hare Krishna, then more and more understanding will come. Because the transcendental nature cannot remain obscure. It's the most predominant nature, and it is eternal. It is eternal. We may have forgotten for some time, not for all the times. So earlier the better. We don't need some extraordinary desire to do some great work in devotional service. We don't need that. Simple, the best. I can do this and I can do that. There is always some hidden agenda behind it. So Krishna has also hidden agenda. He will never allow you to be successful. So I say, oh, in spiritual life also, I cannot progress. What is the use? Better give up. But Krishna is not going to give you up. Once you have chanted the holy name, Haridas Thakur said, his Vaishnavism starts and it is never going to end until he reaches Krishna's abode. So by mistake, nobody should take even holy name if they have no desire. Remember, Prabhupada would say the intact words like Londorama, and he said, Rama is there intact, right? And these are our teachings, even though he does not know what is Rama. But it is directly addressing the pleasure aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So with all this understanding and training in Krishna consciousness, certainly we will be able to progress and we'll start running like Mother Yashoda to catch Krishna. But Krishna is swifter. He knows you in and out. So, remain humble. Remain humble. And will be forgiven even if we make mistakes. But humility is very helpful to absorb all the shocks of our disappointments that we receive. It will help us. So, that Supreme Personality of Godhead is now finally deciding to get caught by his mother. Not that mother was able to. We give credit out of intense love. Yes, she caught him. But how can you say that she has intense love and want to punish him at the same time? She, if we think, if she has the stick in her hand, running after the poor little adorable child, we contradict. We start saying that she is heartless. Oh no. Look at the boy is crying. Come on. But she wants to tie him up like anything. Rudantam muhur netram yugmam brijantam. And Krishna, knowing what is going on everybody's mind, out of fear of the stick in Mother Yashoda's hands, he started sobbing. I mean, you can't find any jumping in the bhava, that Krishna is so swift and so much natural that it is a continuous experience in a natural way. This is the nature. Nature of the Supreme is transcendental. And knowing the desires of transcendental nature, his energies are acting so swiftly, manifesting in jnana, bala and kriya. Krishna's energy is manifested in the form of jnana, bala and kriya. Jnana is energy, power. Knowledge is power, but material knowledge is not power. The power can be calculated in few cents and pounds only. No. What is the power? That he is the supreme controller, the supreme power. Gyan, bala, mightiness, and wonderful kriyas, we call it pastimes. They manifest automatically. So here we see Rudam tam muhur netram yugmam rijantam karam bhoja yugmena shatanka netram muhushvasha kampa trirekhanka kantha sthitagraiva damodaram bhaktivedanta. Upon seeing his mother's stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful, and his quick breathing shook the strands of pearl on his neck, which bore 3 lines like conch shell. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound with the ropes of his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. Oh my God. He is crying. And Satyavrat Muni doesn't want to say anything about crying, but he wants to worship the rope that has been used for binding. Now, the relishment of this particular activities, rubbing his eyes, it is said that his color was originally black, right? And he has mascara also in his eyes, which is also black. Can you imagine black and black? There's no contradiction, so it is merging and everything is black. We speak on the boat today about the blackness of the original color. Then his face is becoming smeared with mascara, because eyes and mascara dripping and wiping, and it's spreading everywhere. What do you see? Homogeneous black. No. There is intensity of blackness. And that means every streak of that mascara and with the fingers rubbing on his cheeks, they were very distinct on the black. And it can be seen only through transparent eyes or transcendental eyes. And you don't see that this is some kind of mistake in expressing through the words. Words always remain limited in enumerating the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. Our dictionary does not have those words. Probably Sanskrit dictionary has some, because they are in detail. And Jiva Goswami and others have described with very Shastric references about the original color to be black. Original color to be black, from which every other colors come. All right, check the crude oil that comes from the earth, the fossil fuel. When it is coming as crude oil, it's nothing but black, the tar. And when it is fragmented, then at different temperatures, it gives out so many different colorful liquids. Where was the blackness? It was still there. So the colors are originating from the black. Blackness is the sum total of all colors. But Krishna's blackness is beautiful black. Sundara Shyam. Sundara Shyam. Or Shyama Sundar. Shyama Sundar. Shyam is never appreciated in material world as Sundar. But yet, people want to have their own self-righteousness and ego projected through the blackness. How abominable service they may, or work they may be doing may not be appreciated by, yet they want to glorify their work. It's completely reverse, but yet in imitation of God. In imitation of God. The Christian thinkers also understand in imitation of the Lord that man is doing it. But of course not in much of details. The Gregorian monks who are monastic, they came into contact with Hare Krishna devotees. And they appreciated. But anyway, we see the playful what? Do you think I need water? Who said that? I can yell at you, right? My mouth is wet. So anyway, the point here in this Lila aspect has to be understood. The Lila really intensifies, progressive, increment. And the understanding for the purpose that Mother Yashoda was running behind Krishna is now as if fulfilled. All right? For her it may be fulfilled, but not for Krishna. You know? In one Lila, or under the pretense of one Lila, he conducts so many other Leelas simultaneously. Who would think that this fearful child can uproot even 2 trees? And how come he will get quiet and not crying even after being tied up? Even the tying was frustrating for Mother Yashoda. And she would not know anything. But if you imagine, okay, she brings a rope to tie him up. The first time she will bring, it will be short. All right? Then she has to go and get another one. Krishna could have run again. Huh? But he didn't do. Right? So she brings another piece of rope and then extends the first rope. But still, she cannot tie 2 inches short. Oh my God. How to reconcile this? What does it signify? And Yashoda does not think that there is some magic going on here. If she starts thinking, then again there will be disruption in the relationship. And it will not be disruption for Mother Yashoda, but it will be disruption for Krishna himself. Why? Krishna is existing on love only. And anything that hampers or disturbs the love, then he wouldn't like it. So he can try a lot of tantrums, and deliberately make the rope shorter. You don't have a material explanation for that, all right? Even though if she brings this second piece of rope and tie up again, and then, it is still short. But, okay, unwind one, how much rounds you are going to put him on the belly, all right? Tie up. But she doesn't think that way. And Krishna is always frustrating her efforts. It means what? Unless and until we have intense love for Krishna, he will test us and make us more and more frustrated. Frustration is his enjoyment. Are you willing to cry for him? Love requires tears. Tears of utter dependency. Krishna is dependent upon his mother, but the devotee has to be dependent upon the Lord. What an extreme situation in the transcendental pastimes, but how do we reconcile that? Forget the magic, enjoy. Don't become rational there. How do I believe that this is happening? No. So unless and until all these obstacles which are created by our fertile brain, they have to be removed. Sarvopadir vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. We will become pure in our thinking patterns when we are bereft of these so-called designations due to bodily conception of life. They are interference. They interfere and will not allow you to enjoy. So they have to be removed. Tat paratvena nirmalam. That is the spotless purity. Rishikena rishikesham sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So, rishik, our senses, better engage them. Don't use for your understanding. Senses belong to Lord Krishna. They were given to us for knowing Him, by which you will be able to know yourself. But we are not using our senses for our knowledge, our reality. No. We want to use the senses for knowing our body, not our reality. That is called sense gratification, and here it is sevanam. Rishikena sevanam. So that is called bhakti. We do not depend upon our so-called thinking process and adjustment in it, how to reconcile this and how to do that. No, if you want to enjoy, don't bring their interference at all. If we are not pure in chanting, such interference will come and will always getting disturbance in enjoyment. This real rasa is a continuous rasa. It's not temporary and changing. Otherwise, how come it is said he is drowning, the Brijavas is in the ocean of ecstasy? The third verse, iti drakshva lila bhi ananda kunde. Ananda kund, kund means reservoir of pleasure. Krishna himself is Ananda Kund, but the Brijavasis are connected with that Ananda Kund, and they bathe all the time. Swagosham nimajjattam akhyapayantam. Swagosham means the his own family and other residents of Gokula. That the relations are there. And everybody is in ecstatic mood. And immersing. And then they make it known because they are going to talk about it continuously. Brijavasi's life is centered around Lord Krishna's these pastimes, and they repeatedly, whoever comes, they will talk about it only. That is their lifestyle. Of course, it's Kali Yuga. The infiltrators, like the outside of Brajakshetra, they did so much mess that it is difficult for them to even concentrate. But the real Brijavasi spirit has to be cultivated. If you go, understand thoroughly and prepare yourself to relish this pastimes, at least 1 month in the whole year, and you will be surcharged like anything. That's why we should go to Vrindavan. Punaha prema tastam satavruti vande. It means with great love I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times. Because it's a continual activity. And every time, at every moment, something new and new is coming up. So you bow down to that relishment and thank Krishna. Again, after some time, another bow down. So keep on bowing down yourself with the intense gratitude. Gratitude comes as a natural consequence of humility. We are obliged to Krishna and nobody else. So whenever you remember this obligation of loving relationship and enjoyment with that, you want to be obligated. So out of obligation we bow down. We remember our servitorship. If we do not have any obligation, who is there to bow down? So that is the third and last verse I will take today. varam deva moksham na moksham vatim va na chanyam vrunem vareshadapiha idam te vapurnathu gopala bhadam sadame manasya virastam kimanyai. Satyavrata Muni is talking of this particular Gopala Balam and Sadame Manasya Virastam. Remain situated all the time in the screen of my internal mind. You know? Okay, so we see something that although Lord, although you can award all kinds of benediction, I pray to you neither of the boon of impersonal liberation, nor for highest liberation in eternal life of Vaikuntha even, nor for any other such boons. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart, for what is the use I have for any other boon besides this? So, the value system in relishment is given the highest credence, and that to the relationship. So, impersonalists have no locus standi in the pastimes because they are not related even. Then, a pure devotee, in his purest constitutional position and his swarupa, means the form, eternal swarupa of the living entity is revealed simultaneously when he worships the Supreme Lord. And that is an eternal fact. So, the eternal identity and the eternal position as servitorship. Swarupa Lakshana is surrender. A devotee is only identifiable by developing this character. That is, he will not say Aham Brahmasmi, he will say Dasoham Asmi. Gopi Bhartuhu Padakamalayo Dasa 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 Anudas. Anudasatva, Anu requires humility to come. People think they have to, sometimes ladies I have seen, Radharani is wearing blue today, so let me wear blue. Some kind of identification. And in Vrindavan there are a lot of Krishnas roaming around too. The idea is that imitation. And here, a particular form that should be the target of our meditation. It's a lifelong activity. Sada me manasya virastam. So, this is an important fact that because we have constitutional position and constitutional form, which is revealed by the mercy of the Holy Name, right? And then what the first initiation gave, the relationship will be exposed. Then we will have to try to adjust to that particular nature through the Yutheshwaris and bhajana pranali or the internal meditation. Nobody ventures there. But here this is a question, and the point to be taken into consideration that yes, everybody is related to Krishna, and You can't quit on Krishna. When you quit, he is after you. Whatever opportunity he has given in the human form of life, and if we mess it up by eating meat, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, Krishna doesn't care. Just come. And who helps to invite such fallen souls? A pure representative, spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada ki? Yeah. He has done this. So, particular form, we don't advertise, first of all. Even though you may have glimpse of your relationship, just shut up. Never utter a word. Yeah, everybody will have to go through this, but it is your private treasure, not to be publicized. You know, when Srila Prabhupada had a mood, and he describes that mood in Markine Bhagavad Dharma, you know, and calls him, brother. So they say, Prabhupada must have fraternity relationship, you know, just like Sakha. So, well, Prabhupada never revealed that himself. You may think in that direction because there are some so-called hints, but you don't know. Prabhupada says, it is written by Bhaktivedanta Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, that when we come to the pure chanting state, then our internal meditation should start, but it should develop some 11 symptoms to invoke that particular mood and the target that we have to reach in our relationship. So you have to be educated by one of the Yutheswaris, and there are 8 prominent, the Ashtasakhis, right? And the spiritual master will help with trial and error methodology to fit you where you belong, under whose tutelage you have to serve. With trial and error. You means, the spiritual master doesn't know? What is that? No. There are so many mixed bhavas. These are 8 prominent, principal sakhis. But they will send you, go to them first, then you come to me. The subordinates. Sa astottara shata Śrīmad. Beyond Astottar, 108. That is, you stand in queue and line. And which line out of 8 lines? Better get educated properly so you won't regret. Otherwise you will come and go uselessly. So, this eternal form of the jiva and his swarup. Swarup brings in particular type of mood and service attitude. So these things are to be taken into consideration to fit yourself in that puzzle, which would be that. We were one time with Lord Shri Krishna performing this particular service, but misusing the minute independence invested in our individuality. We create a desire which was separate from the Lord's desire, and this became mismatch. So Krishna has to create another realm, creation of the material world. So we fell from the spiritual grace and service attitude. But nonetheless, we end up doing service. We are never master in this material world. Everybody is a servant, servant, servant. You know, if you don't serve God in this life, you will end up serving dogs. But service is our nature, and we cannot rise beyond the other nature. Service must be there. Service must be rendered. Our existence or coexistence, even in the material world, depends upon the service. So we stop here and we'll take the other 4 verses next day, tomorrow. Thank you very much. Anybody has any question regarding this? Just don't throw off the ball. Any particular thing in so far, I try to explain. Yes?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it was really enlightening lecture. As you mentioned that we should not jump on Rasa Lila or on Madhurya Bhav, then as a sadhaka, what should we meditate upon as right now in whatever is our current condition? What should we meditate, what should we contemplate upon?
That's correct. It's a very good fundamental question. And Rupa Goswami answers in Bhaktivedanta Sindhu. It was also to be creamed out, and GBC was concerned because this was a question asked. So about 7 years back, Shivaram Maharaj was supposed to write a short presentation, and he created a slideshow that what should be our attitude while performing our sadhana, and especially chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It says, as we progress, Adav Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sangatha Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivrutti Shyat. We get stuck at Anartha Nivrutti. There are so many anarthas, and we are not getting liberated from them. So up to that point, Rupa Goswami advises that we must concentrate or meditate on the sound vibration that comes out from our own chanting. Krishna and his sound vibrations are non-different. So, how purely we are chanting. And if we remain callous not to hear ourselves, then where is the remembrance going to come? So, make our chanting intensify through meditative aspect on the vibrations of the holy name. Once we get rid of the anarthas, then we automatically get liberated. Anartha nivrutti brings you to the stage of very unshakable faith. And up till now, Krishna was not leaving you. Now you will have to be after Krishna. Because Krishna is very tricky. He puts you on the track, and then he will allow you to run on your own. And you will have to catch him. So at that time, when your faith is very confirmed, it becomes nishtha. Ashli shiva padartam pinastumam adarshanam marmam hatam karotu va. Yatha tatha va vidadatu lampata mat prananathastu sa eva napara. This is the confirmation of nishtha. Never give that up. Stay at the nishtha level, then you will hanker automatically, gradually, but slowly but surely, that you want to taste the nectar. So ruchi will develop. Ruchi means the taste. Now this taste, apparently we are tasting even in unpurified state. The example is, you get a kheer prasadam, very sweet, but right now we are tasting the kheer prasadam mixed with sand. So you will relish it, but you won't enjoy it. Can you enjoy the conker in your mouth? Oh. You will give up. But confirmation is the nishtha that will allow you to taste without any interference, because no more anarthas are there. Anarthas are like pebbles in the kheer prasadam. So then you will naturally become hankering for it. Asakti. You cannot survive the real attachment to that taste. The taste comes, the rasa comes from your relationship in particular mood and services. But that will continue now. But as long as you become asakta, if you are a little careless about, oh no, this is enough, I don't want to progress further, then there is no uddipan in you. Nothing is enthusiastically enlivening you to make progress, right? So, as if you have a lamp but it is extinguished. Uddipan. One must always keep flaming, and enthusiasm is that uddipan. So, in spontaneous devotional service will generate. So, asakti, then it will allow you to estimate the price that you have to now give. Krishna is not free. He is not cheap. You tasted the higher and it is expensive. Come on, sacrifice everything. Become naked. Go. And that's about it. So, bhava. Bhava means कीमत. $1 का क्या भाव है भाई? We ask the bhava, but that is for the commodity market and that. But what is the price of Krishna? What do you have to offer him so he will come and be purchased by you? That is bhava. You can't meditate. So at the point of becoming free from the anarthas and nishtha, you get the swarup. Swarup means the form of the Lord. The holy name will reveal the swarup. Not your, but at least Krishna's. And that becomes your Ishtadev. You go after him. That's why the grahasthas are supposed to keep the deity in their home. Otherwise, Radha Vallabh is there, the common denominator for everybody. But how many are going after him? You have shown this credibility. You even though we are staying far, now you came closer. That is intensification is there. It's very rare in many of the temples. There is hardly any community developing. The community has to develop around the temple. That's a fact. In Dallas, we see some development is there. So everybody has accessibility to the worship of the deity, their engagement and everything. That is intensified closeness. The Swarup is obtained. And when the Swarup is being the object of meditation during those stages, then divine qualities will be happening. So the way you reciprocate with the deity in purified state, the deity will also reciprocate with you. It's a mutual thing. So development of the interactions between you and deity in the purified stage, you obtain the divine qualities which are more required for interactions. Because Krishna is divine. Divine means filled with divine qualities. Even though we are part and parcel, that divinity get extinguished as soon as we come in the mode of ignorance, overpowering and converting us into total, obnoxious living entity. So, at that time, our meditation should be on the divine qualities. When we are able to interact, then the bhava has different stages. So, increase. Radharani is Mahabhava Swarupa. So, only then and then you enter in the prema aspect. Not otherwise. Who is the only lover of Krishna? Radharani. Nobody else. But she is always busy in sending others to Krishna. Because by her mercy, everybody else is qualified to come to that stage. Mother Janva was given special privilege by Radharani because of this system. And Radharani came to stand on the right side of Gopinath and tell Mother Janva, you take my place. That's how the mood of the worship is on the intensified level. So that is the perfection of loving exchanges. And these exchanges are eternal pastimes. Eternal. It's always happening. Oh, you have a question, dear brother. Are you hungry?
Just a quick one. This Satyavrat moon is the same as from the Vatsya, the king Satyavrat?
Who told you that?
I'm just asking.
Why do you have to ask me? Don't ask me silly things.
What is the lineage of Satyavrat?
What is the meaning of Satya?
What is the lineage of this Satyavrat moon?
You better read if it is given in Bhagavatam, otherwise there is none. Yeah.
Prabhupada said that in the book Aquarian Gospel, it's mentioned that Jesus Christ lived in Jagannath temple.
Yes, we have a record there. We have also in Lhasa monastery and also in Kashi Vishwanath. But he was driven away from Kashi. There are records. His tomb is in Jammu. And Ahmadiyas, they are Muslim, but they worship Jesus Christ. The holy land of India. All glories to it. Everything happens that baffles the whole world, including Maya. Maya happens here and baffles the whole world. And no wonder Jad Bharata also took birth in Ludhiana. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki